Welcome to the number one friendship podcast in the country. I'm Aaron Karo.
I'm Matt Ritter.
And make sure to go to manoftheyearpodcast.com to grab our merch and YouTube to watch our episodes. Matt, do you ever feel like people in your family have just a very low bar for you, low expectations?
I don't know. Give me more. Tell me more.
My dad, he's become sort of like a gourmet chef in his retirement, and he just like loves to cook. And he's always sending me recipes and like, this is easy. Like you could make this at home. And like, it's steadily getting more and more like pathetic. Like he's like 7 ingredient recipes, 7-minute meals. He literally sent me something the other day, 1 ingredient, 4 minutes. And I'm just like, no, I won't do it.
How is it a recipe if it's 1 ingredient?
It's like rice and then just a pinch of salt. I don't know. They're really, and I'm like, but the bar is so he must see these and go, oh, my idiot son can make this.
Ooh, that's tough. No, I don't know. I do sometimes feel just with the Hollywood stuff. It's like, oh, that's so great. I'm like, no, that's not the thing. I had a meeting.
Matt, do not even get me started about meetings when my parents ask about meetings.
I'm like, that is 900 steps below something that we're excited about.
It's legitimately 99, at least 99 meetings for one anything.
Right. So yeah, you're like, oh, that's like saying like, how was that first jog you did to train for the marathon?
Right. My mom's like, oh, how was your meeting? I'm like, it was a meeting. Like, it's just meetings. Right. They're meetings. Sometimes I wish I was a lawyer.
Right. It's like, oh, how was that drafting?
They would never ask you that. They would just say, how was your day?
Right, exactly. How did page 2 of the credit agreement go?
Let me ask you this. When Jess, your wife, does she say, like, how does she articulate? Does she say, how was your day? Does she say, what did you do today? Does she even ask? Or do you tell her?
Always. We have a dinner ritual where we talk about our days.
But what's the ritual?
Tell me about your day.
Right. I don't know. I feel like for us, there's like 4 out of 5 days is nothing to tell.
But it doesn't always have to be work. So ours is emotional connection, whatever, anything. And my dumb ideas, as Karo would say, popped up on dumb ideas.
God, when you have an idea that you get the Jess and Karo approval, that must be you won the lottery.
So, Jess, I've learned to not roll over and start with the ideas at 6 a.m. when I'm up. I usually have to get out of the room. So I've gotten pretty good at it, but lately I've just been in a really creative zone, and I've had a lot of new projects that I need that Jess buy-in from. And our nanny was here, and we have the guest bathroom in the laundry room. And so I just was like talking to her. I just like hit her with an idea. Like she didn't ask to be hit with the ideas. Sometimes I just launch into the rant, and she was in the bathroom, and I just like opened the door, and she's like on the toilet, and she's like, come on.
I'm rubbing my eyes, listeners. I mean, it's just, you don't even deserve a response to that. I mean, it's just like, it's a wonder you ever get her to, she probably just says yes to,
No. She tells me.
No, she wouldn't give you that.
She goes, not now.
Right.
She goes, I'll help you. Not now.
Got it. And I love that we've talked about this before, Matt. So when the idea gets to me, it's already passed through. Jess once said to me, he goes, you don't even understand the ones he doesn't tell you.
Oh, man. Hard to be a big ideas man.
You're big ideas man. All right, so I want to talk about something that we're never going to happen to us, was a friendship breakup. Now, we have talked about, hopefully not, knock on wood, we've talked about friendships ending many times in the pod, but what we haven't really talked about is getting over a friendship breakup. And so just real quick, there was an article in The Cut about why friendship breakups can be so brutal, like as bad as a romantic relationship. And they said some of it is that because it's very unambiguous. It's very ambiguous. Like you break up with your girlfriend, you have a fight, whatever, you break up, the end. Where friendship is kind of like, what happened? It fades out. You don't really know. Friendships aren't always so explicit. Where like, you have expectations for your wife has expectations for you. You have a friendship. Your wife would never just go on vacation without you.
Right.
And friendships,
Right.
sometimes that kind of things happen. So
Right.
when I was telling you this the other day, Matt, about, oh, these friendship breakups are so brutal. And then you were like, well, what about rebounds? What about friendship rebounds? And I thought that was a brilliant, brilliant idea. So I think we maybe have coined it. So like, what would you talk to me about what you envision a friendship rebound to be?
Well, first of all, I picture a friend breakup that warrants a rebound, right?
Okay.
So, like when you have a casual breakup, you don't need a rebound, right? But when you have a bad breakup, the best cure is a rebound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Greatest, I think Swingers has to be the greatest like rebound movie ever, right?
Remind me, does I forgot, he meets someone new and then eventually was like, forget it with the old girl, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he finally gets over with Heather Graham.
Yes, right.
But
Yeah.
remember, he was pining after that girl with the voicemails.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, brutal.
Yeah.
But so first of all, I picture it being a tough friendship breakup that you would even be in a position where you need that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess part of the notion of rebound, now tell me if you think this is right or not, but part of the notion of a rebound is that it's casual.
It's casual, it's quick, it's a palate cleanser,
Right.
and it's exciting.
Right. Yeah, exciting. Right. So it's I love that. It's a palate cleanser. It's quick, it's exciting, it's casual, it's rebound.
and sort of the note behind the note of a rebound often is that you're, to your point, you are pining after this person, or at least pining after the relationship that you had.
Yeah.
And so you need to, if you're just thinking about that all day, that ain't good.
Right. And I think what you were saying is right. Is like friendship endings don't just necessarily get acknowledged, right? So nobody's ever thought, because we just coined it, hey, let's help our friend get a rebound friend. But I guess that would be weird because like that, if they already have friends, they're maybe then not missing him as much, right? Because part of the rebound in relationship is like, oh, I lost this thing that I now no longer have.
I think a rebound is more applicable for a hard cut breakup where like something happened.
Yep.
And I think there's a couple ways to go about it. One, you can make a new friend, and I want to talk about that in a second. Two, you can also there's nothing wrong with going to one of your other friends and being like, I want to hang out. Let's go do something. This crazy thing just happened.
Right. Actually, it's so funny. I was just thinking when I conceived it of like, oh, going to find a new friend, but you could also rebound right into amping up one of your existing friendships.
Or calling an old friend.
Right. Right. I think in the friendship breakups I've had, I've leaned more into my existing friends.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you've done in your?
Yeah, I'm fortunate to only have a handful of friendship breakups, and they were mostly fade outs. But yeah, you kind of realize, who your real friends are.
Right.
And you start to realize that this friendship wasn't healthy for you. You weren't getting enough out of it. And like, listen, you, the listener, deserve to be with buddies who like you. We talk about the PALS test: passion, appreciation, loyalty, and support. I mean, if you're not getting that, good riddance, first friend.
Right. There's also something funny about if your friends clock it, that you're doing it. There's something funny about that, right? Like
What
if
do you
your
mean?
friends
Oh,
know,
yeah.
if you have some sort of friend breakup or falling out, and then suddenly you're calling a friend that you haven't been calling a lot, they're gonna know, right?
But how is that different than a romantic breakup when you disappear and then you're just like back?
No, that's true. That's true. But
Yeah.
it would be funnier as a friend. Oh, I guess you and Jim aren't hanging out anymore.
Matt, have we talked about in this pod, like when one of your buddies makes a new friend and they're always hanging out with them and you're like, okay, what
Yeah.
WTF?
Yeah. No, we haven't talked about that.
A shiny new friend.
The shiny new friend. The shiny new friend. But I like the idea of if you've had a friend breakup, it is fun to go after a new friend.
Well, I was just going to say, I have a prototypical rebound friend in my head, and I'm going to vaguely describe it to you. It's the person we've met recently who had a lot of tattoos and was divorced and seemed pretty fun.
Oh yeah. That was
Like,
classic friend rebound guy. Literally
yeah,
shining. His arm was shining with a, like some sort of religious figure.
yeah. He had a Virgin Mary tattoo on his shin, and
Yeah.
I wanted to hang out with him so bad.
Yeah. I mean, a gargoyle. He had a gargoyle on his shoulder. Who doesn't want that in their life?
Um, divorced. He was like kind of like he was single, but like didn't really like. He was like, I'm just living my life right now. Like
That's what you
that's
want
a
in a
fun.
rebound guy. Rebound friend.
I think also in a rebound friend, you want a planner. You want someone who's like a little connected, who can like take you, who
Ooh.
wants to take you out.
You know what I was thinking would be hilarious if you're going to rebound? I think some people fall into this category where you want a complete and total replacement, like a replica, you know, like the way that people do in relationships.
Oh, I see what you're
They've
saying.
got a type and they want to replace that person, that woman or man. Same way with friends. I could see a scenario where you're like, oh man, I lost like my wild and crazy friend. I got to go find a wild and crazy friend. Or, oh, I lost my planning friend who plans everything. Or I lost my, if I lost JMC, my credit card miles guy, I'd have to find another one quick.
He's who you go to like advice for booking a flight.
Oh yeah, I have to find it. You can't be without a miles guy. Do you not have a miles? I mean, you use him?
No, I don't. I didn't even know he offered that service.
He sent me a 44-page spreadsheet, a PDF like learning document.
He's a psycho. So it's like,
Yeah,
so is that like, okay, you're flying to Miami, and he's like, here's how to do it.
anything, anywhere, any meal, any travel, any spend.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I feel like I can just imagine. Maybe it's a movie idea. We have a friendship breakup, and then you have a new Karo 2, faux
Can
Karo.
you imagine I picked this guy up at CrossFit? I'm walking to CrossFit. I mean, faux
You pick.
Cairo.
See, I don't think I could. I think you're irreplaceable, unreplaceable, irreplaceable.
No, yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't really know any Cairos walking around.
Interesting. Wow. Well, I guess we're both two
Yeah,
unique flowers.
yeah. I have to pick you up in pieces in different other random dudes here and there.
You're like when Chewbacca had C-3PO in his backpack, a leg and an arm.
Yeah,
And
yeah, exactly. I'd have to pick up little pieces. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, but is there a danger of like, well, two things. One is if you're doing rebound, right? Like in relationships, right? A lot of times people don't think they can ever stay with their rebound, right? That's the cliche.
right.
He's like, never marry a rebound.
Mm-hmm.
But in friendship, even if
Yeah.
you just go in quick and hard with a guy, I feel like they could completely become one of your best friends. Even if you were just like, I just need to make a rebound friend immediately.
Right. Right. Rebounds are, notoriously ephemeral, but for friendship, I mean, there's no reason why someone just can't be I mean, unless you've gone after a real bad boy.
Right. But that's the thing about friendship that we talk about. We haven't talked about this in a while. We haven't talked about this in a while. The difference between dating and friendship is in dating, you're looking for the one. In friendship,
Right.
you're looking for a one.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. ChatGPT has some other advice for friendship rebounding. One is to turn to family.
That's a good one. They're always there. It's always like people, maybe some people forget. You can always call your siblings or parents.
Another is to sort of, instead of looking for another buddy, like maybe look for a new activity. So I'm going to join a softball league.
Okay.
Another is find a revenge friendship.
Much better looking friend.
I guess so.
What
I
does
don't
that mean?
even.
Better looking friend? A richer friend?
Someone the other friend didn't like.
Oh. Ooh. I wouldn't even have thought to do that. Go after their enemy and befriend them? Change alliances? Wow. Just rip
Yeah,
off the Mets jersey and you got a Red Sox one underneath now?
man, that's
That's
funny.
crazy. You
But
know what I was gonna say? That Matt GPT would say, uh, sometimes you just need to look inside. Maybe you need to spend a little time with yourself.
well, listen, we talk about the dude pyramid, which is the breakdown of your time and how you should be spending with close friends and more weak ties. And there's also room in that pyramid for alone time.
Right. So maybe you need to reflect on that friendship a little bit, grieve for it for a minute. We
Mhm.
talked about that. It's okay to grieve for your friendships, but then go out there and just find some awesome dude.
Yeah, it's like what's the equivalent of like going out and getting laid after a breakup? Going out and
Picking up a guy at a sports bar at the bar while he's watching a game. You just go up
yeah,
to him, just pick him up, get his digits that day.
buy him a beer.
Yeah.
I was I was at our old haunt Barney's with Fireball Adam recently. And there was a big dude.
Arnie's. Oh, love it.
Yeah. Very social, obviously, but like you know, it's like people had many drinks. This guy was drinking a mind eraser. He's like, "This is my third one." I'm like, "You
I don't
don't
even,
seem
to be honest, I don't even remember what's in a mind eraser.
well. Why would you? Because nobody normal would drink that. It's a Long Island iced
Or
tea.
is that the
Like
point of it? It's a mind eraser. You don't even remember what's in it. I don't
it's
know.
vodka, coffee, liqueur, club soda. It's like a Black Russian. Actually, that wasn't
Ugh.
what he was drinking. Something else.
You have to
Um,
almost be trying not to make a friend or even talk to people to leave Barney's without having had some sort of random social interaction.
right. Yeah. I mean, also Barney's has fucking urinals with no side thing.
Oh, the trough.
Why do they treat us like animals?
I know. They expect us to behave like civilized gentlemen.
All right, let's take a listener question. Guys, we'll be right back. Okay, this is asking for a friend. If you have a friendship question or ethical dilemma, send it to us on Instagram and we will answer it on the show. Our handle is Man of the Year Podcast. All right, it's a good one, Matt. Dear Matt and Karo, I have this friend who's awesome to hang out with. Like, they're the person I call for last minute concert tickets, spontaneous road trips. But when it comes to real talk, it is like pulling teeth. I've
Mm.
never heard them mention anything about their feelings, family, or anything deeper than what he just bought at Costco. I didn't even know he had siblings until recently. How is it possible to get past the surface stuff without it getting weird? And I just want to add an addendum to this. My dad's best friend, who I've kind of known my entire life, is very much like this. My dad has known him for 55 years, has never met his siblings, has never met his parents, doesn't know anything about him. I mean, he's a wasp. I think maybe that's a wasp thing.
Mm.
But this is an interesting one.
Are some friends or some people in your life just meant to be like that?
Meant to be sort of what is it? Enigma?
Yeah, a little bit of an enigma. Or just like, are you not supposed to be able to get below the surface with some people?
Huh. I mean, that goes against everything we've ever said.
I know, but they're like, I just feel like these people are the anomalies and they exist.
Yeah, and he's a great guy. I'm just talking about my dad's friend, but like, yeah, these waspy types, they're just like speaking of your family is like telling tales out of school. I mean, it's insane.
Mm, mm. I don't know. I don't know if if it's a cultural thing or not, or an age thing. Feels like there's less men built that way. But our parents' generation, there were a lot of men built that way.
Well, let's not forget a few episodes ago, you tried to convince me you should never ask someone about his wife.
I I never said that. You keep saying that. That doesn't exist.
It,
That doesn't even make any sense.
it hasn't aired yet, and I can't wait because you've completely erased it from your mind.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
You're misquoting the context of it. That's not even remotely what I was getting at.
Okay, I'm not even going to get engaged with
Yeah,
you on this. I believe
yeah,
it's an episode that's coming up, but
yeah.
I bet you that if the stealthy types, if they were forced, like, I don't know, their siblings visited and this guy showed up or my dad showed up, I bet you they would be like, oh, that was actually fun.
I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying, like, is there room in this world for these people to still exist despite everything that we're preaching? Like, to exist as is and leave them be.
let's do one caveat. Let's assume that there isn't some sort of trauma, that it's not like, well, my parents don't have a good relationship. It's just that someone doesn't want to talk about their parents for no other reason that they just weren't brought up to share things like that.
Right. Right.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, on some
clearly,
level.
Clearly the question asker cares.
Right. He cares. And so on some level, I was going to say, do you make a few attempts? You know, you can try everything that we've taught, and you can feel free to share the tips that you think are relevant. But is there also just something to respecting certain people's communication styles and vulnerabilities and not forcing it?
I don't know. To say it's just call that a communication style is
guarded is a communication style.
Yeah, but guarded implies you could actually get past the guard.
Is that true?
Yeah, because I think if push comes to shove, a guarded person, I mean, this person is shut.
Steel trap.
Yeah. You know, oof. This is a good one because, you know, we talk about diversity of friendship and we don't mean necessarily like gender or race, like having different types of friends and work friends and close friends and female friends. And, you know, having that one guy, you know, we have a couple people who, you know,
more reserved.
Yes. Yes. Now, I think if we ask them, how's your, you know, folks doing or what do they do for a living, they tell you, but.
Yeah. That's why I meant communication style. I think some people are not so forthcoming, but I do think most people will tell you if you directly say, hey, what does your mom do? I never asked you.
Right.
And they may not want to do that, and it's fine. And maybe that does, you know, kind of break them open, break down some of their walls. But I had a thought too that we haven't addressed. It's like, what if you're not their confidant?
Again, confidant, the man that she didn't even say he had a sibling to this person.
Yeah, right. I guess that's an extreme case, but I think sometimes some people have people they share with, and you're not one of them, right? I mean, that maybe that's not this situation, but that is a situation where maybe you want to go deeper with somebody, and maybe they just don't want to go deeper with you, and you could also that could be a possibility that we're not, you know, sort of seeing.
That's true. I mean, in a recent episode, I talked about how my uncle passed away. There was a bunch of people that I just didn't even tell because I was like, you don't need to know this information.
Right. Right. So I think sometimes people are like, you don't need to know this, right? Like, because, and it may be just because he is okay with the relationship existing as it is, as a surface level. You're the guy. I sit at the bar, I watch the game, I go home, and maybe I don't talk to my wife, but maybe I do.
You know, it's interesting. I'm reading this question again. No, he said it's like pulling teeth because he says, I've never heard him mention anything about their feelings, family, or anything deeper. I'm like, did you ask? But he says it's like pulling teeth. So, but it's still a little unclear. Like,
I've had a hard time with this at, I don't even really play anymore, but I used to play pickup basketball. And, you know, I went in there with a very open, friendship forward mentality, and I was maybe trying a little too hard. It was like right after I moved to LA. And after the game, I would always kind of like try to talk to people about their life, and they just didn't want to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
That often indicates to me a little bit of, I don't know, unhappiness.
I don't know. Maybe there's just, you know, again, there's a lot of different contexts. Like maybe he feels that time and place is his, I just watch sports time.
Right. But if
Because I'm
things were
always,
going
you know,
well,
you and I are like you and I are like chit-chatting. Like if we're watching a game, we're talking about life, but not everybody does that. And again, we're trying to get people to do it, but a lot of people are just not predisposed to do that, and they don't conceive of that hangout that way. So I would like him to try and see if we can get somewhere with this guy, but ultimately some people are not going to be receptive to that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think that the archetype that you're describing is the guy who never talks about it with anyone. Like if
That's
he's
probably
like,
right.
oh,
That's probably right.
yeah, if he's at the bar, like, hey, we're watching the game. I don't want to, like, there's no way he's going home and talking to his wife.
No, probably not. And we look at, and we've always said on this pod, we don't think it's healthy to live like
No.
that. But we're not addressing that guy. We're addressing you, right? You're the healthy person. You're trying.
Right. I have a pitch. What about the question asker just unilaterally shares about himself?
Go for it.
Maybe
I
the
like
guy will
that.
reciprocate.
I like that.
We talk about modeling. We talk about permission structure. Like,
Right.
oh, this
If
is
you're
this is the
asking him to
relationship.
be vulnerable, you open up first.
Yeah, you be the friend. You create a permission structure that when we get together for Monday Night Football, we also occasionally talk about our wives. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm. 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 I like this.
Yeah, I get worried about the people who are closed off and never share anything with anybody.
Of course. I mean, that's when we started this pod, we said, hey, the lone wolf, the guys who never talk, who say they don't need friends, we know you're wrong. The statistics, the anecdotes, everything we have in front of us tells us that that's not going to work long term.
Yeah.
But again, I'm trying to have a little bit of space in my mind for like, oh, okay, we don't know it all. Maybe there's some guys that are totally fine in that way, or maybe you're not approaching them the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would say share yourself. B, you can ask them. If neither of those work, then this person doesn't want to share. And then you have two options. Is this still a healthy relationship that you want to build in? Do you like him? Do you get your nourishment elsewhere? And so it's not a big deal? Or is this just not doing anything for you? In which case, maybe you shouldn't focus so much on it.
I like all of that. Well said.
We solved it. All right, guys, that was asking for a friend. If you have a friendship question, send it to us on Instagram. We will answer on the show. All right, Matt, let's close it out. What do we learn about rebounding? By the way, you good rebounder in basketball?
I do a lot of the dirty work. So, for my size.
Yeah.
For my size. I love Josh Hart. Just shout out to Josh Hart, 6'4", and as averaging 10 rebounds a game for the Knicks.
Amazing.
So what did we learn about rebounding? I mean, we've created an entire category of the friendship rebound. So
yeah,
we're teaching here.
Yeah.
Can you use some of the principles of dating rebounding? Yes, but don't be as sort of like, don't fall into the trap of thinking a rebound friend can't be a lifelong friend.
Yeah, and I think that if you have a traumatic friendship breakup, there's a couple rebounding options. You can find a new friend. You can rekindle an old friend. You can, join more of an activity rather than find a new person. Or you could turn towards your family. Or I love what Matt said. You could turn towards yourself and just kind of do a little reflection. It's funny, Matt. I think that we had in this society, or at least my people that I know, there's people who spend too much time alone, and there's people who don't spend enough time alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that balance is tough.
Yeah. I mean, I think I spend too much time alone now.
Well, you're never alone.
No, the office is in my house. I'm alone. 12 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, there's people 5 feet away from you.
No, I know, but I still think, I don't know. I like to be. I mean, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's but I do feel that I've spent too much time alone.
Yeah, I think you actually need to spend more time alone. To be totally honest.
No way, man. No, I can't do it.
Because you're not. I mean, you're not alone. You're never alone.
In the office alone all day.
Yeah, yeah. You pop out. You had chit chat. You shove lunch down your gullet.
Yeah, while I'm talking on the phone to you. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? You need more alone time or less?
Well, I definitely have a lot of alone time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with less.
Okay. Get out there.
Yeah.
Get out there.
I love it. All right, guys, tell us about your friendship rebounds. And that's all we got. So thank you so much for listening. Always remember, be good to yourself, be good to your friends. Love you, buddy.